Aloha guys, these are basic sand spikes you get in Hawaii, except for the one in the center. That one there is pretty tall. That one I got from Florida, and that's for the deeper, fluffier sand you expect in Florida, or areas like Florida. Also you get them in Texas as well. So on the left was my original sand spike that I made back in the 70s, when I first started when I was a kid. It's just a PVC top, but I used a steel band to secure it on the top, and that's lasted me since the 70s. Now the pair next to that on the right hand side of that is more of a basic, what you get here in Hawaii. Got that, I believe I got that one from Every Beach Buy and Sell. That one's I've had it for quite a few years. It works really well. And the one in the middle, when I go to Florida, I've been going there for over 20 years, back and forth in business. This is basically what I use there because it's fluffier sand. It's either that or I use a 4-foot section of PVC piping. The one on the right hand side of that is another old one from this one's from the 80s, and that one is quite unique. It's made out of steel instead of aluminum, and I'll show that later. And the ones I'm going to highlight is the pair on the right, far right. So let me start off with my high school model. This one here is just a basic piece of pipe, or flattened pipe that was bent out, made a nice tip on it. This is aluminum, so very lightweight. I made it very skinny, so this way I can use it in the rocks as well as the sand. Really wasn't made for anything heavy set. It was more for papio, which are jacks under 10 pounds. You know, I drilled it out here, so I put my bolt through it. And this one here is just a steel retaining band, all from the 70s, and look, it has survived this well because I'll use schedule 40. Now they got schedule 80, which is a little bit thicker. This is next one, I believe was Every Beach Buy and Sell. This is your basic sand spike, which can also be used as a rock spike. Beveled, which is really nice, drive it through the sand. And as you can see by the bent tip, this has been used for quite a few years. Has a retaining stand on the bottom here so your rod doesn't go past that. This one here is I put tape on it, and the reason I do this is because the edges over here are sharp, so I don't want it to make rings around my rod, but that would take years and years of letting it sit there and getting wobbled around from the wind or the fish hitting to do that. But I just covered tape just to be on the safe side. And also what I do is, see, like this one here is ready to be changed. I can put more tape on it. But what I like about this is I can put my bell right in there. Here in Hawaii, we use bells a lot. Instead of electronic alarms, to let us know if there's a fish nibbling. So normally I like when I get a hit and the fish takes off, I kind of like to use this. See this little notch here? I like that notch. See? Just, sorry, there was a rock stuffed in there. That's all you have to do. It just hangs beautifully over there. This is one of the newer designs for Florida. It was made by Exact Designs. So let me show you. This is the original one. It's made out of thinner aluminum because it's longer. They want to keep the weight down. The end is capped, and this here is where you put your foot on to help drive it, back and forth to get in the sand. And I found during testing that if you use the tips and you dig out a section for this, it will bury it and help steady it. That would really help steady it. This is a bait box on this one here, so you can put your bait in here. Holes have been drilled to let the water out on 4 corners. And this one here does not have, look, it does not have the bands across to stop the pole. Okay, that was one of the issues I had because they use a notch system here for the stem of your reel, because this is meant for spinners, not conventionals. And you notice over here there's a section that is, well, before I get to that, notice they have tape. The tape is a measurement, so I they approached me to say, hey, we heard that you've been to Florida and around the world. What do you suggest? On the newer model, they got rid of this and they made incremented lines on the metal, which is a lot better. Let me show you what this is for. It's actually kind of a neat design. Works well for Hawaii. But when I'm in Florida, especially the Pompano Beach area, we use rakes, sand flea rakes, and that notch was to hold this on it, so it's perfect. And also in the big canister, you can put your drink there as well. Now here's something you don't see too often. My good friend Wayne Choi, he gave this to me. This is, I believe, from the 60s. I think he said 60s. This is steel. You would not believe the weight of this damn thing. And it's huge. But look at it. It has what you need over here if you're going to use a trolling rod. So you can put it in there and actually float your line out. And look how big this is. That's 2 inches right there. This can hold almost anything. I mean, I had a Kimura before. In fact, I had quite a few Kimuras and other old-time rods. It'll fit in this and a lot of the other older styles, especially when I had Fuji Fishing Supply making me rods. They'll fit in this, but man, I just kept this because you just don't see things like this anymore. This is my last sand spike I'd like to show you. This is a true, beautiful sand spike. Again, beveled edge. See how it's cut? Very long. You got your bar over here in case you want to put in some heavy-duty rods. What I did is I adorned this with reflective tape here. So at night, it's going. If you're looking around, you're not gonna trip over it because you'll see the reflective tape when your light hits off of it. What makes this very, very special is look at the edges. The edges are beveled. This came from Brian's Fishing Supply in Honolulu, Hawaii here. And this is the only place I found beveled edges. You see that? It's completely smooth. It is not sharp edge. And there's a disadvantage to sharp edge ones. Now this is the rod butt of surf rod that John Bretza brought me in on, that we did together. And well, it's mostly John. I just provided some technical looks into the possibility of making this, and it came out beautiful. This is a surf rod that was made here for Hawaii, but it's popular in Australia and all over the world now. Let me show you. This here is the rod holder. Put this in. Now a lot of times you see the edge here. If that edge is not beveled and this is moving around, it's going to make a ring around your favorite rod. Now granted, it's going to take years and years to do that, but it does do that. Okay, so I found that Brian's had figured this out, and the person I believe who did this was from Tropo, which is Brent, who is now the owner of Brian's Fishing Supply. And these beautiful rod holders were sand spike rod holders were meant as a special ordered item, and I think Brian's is the only place on this island that sells this. Okay guys, I've been almost all over the world, diving, fishing, giving lectures all my life. Okay, I've been all over the continental US, from New York, going all the way down, coming back up to Washington on the other side. Spent over 20 years fishing off Florida, boat and shore. I've been all over the Caribbean. I've been down far south as Easter Island, above Antarctica, off the coast of Chile. I live here in Hawaii, so I've been all throughout the Hawaiian chain, been to a lot of the Pacific Islands, and is going to the Indian Ocean as well, from the Nicobars to Phuket. And I can tell you, Hawaii is the place for spikes. If it be rock spikes, sand spikes, the majority of our spikes are made locally here. And because the people in Hawaii understand what the people in Hawaii need. So if you want to look for sand spikes, I tell you that this one here that was made by Brian's Fishing Supply, this is a good one. It's very user specific. This has been more for heavy duty, but the only place I've ever found in Hawaii that has everything you could possibly need is at Bill Newton. Bill Newton owns Ever Beach Buy and Sell. I don't want to sound like a commercial, but his online site is highfishgear.com. And the only reason I say it is if you are truly a shoreline angler and you want to find spikes that will fit your need, just go to his warehouse site, highfishgear.com. And I think you're going to be amazed because I truly believe that the best spikes in the world, literally the world, and that's a boast, comes from Hawaii. Thank you.